Hey ladies, and welcome back or welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Stephanie. My goal is to help you to do three things. Number one, growing your relationship with God. Number two, be confident in who you are. And number three, develop the right habits so that you can be disciplined enough to achieve your goals and do everything that God has called you to do. Yes, your girl got her hair freshly silk pressed because the natural life was just giving me too much stress. If you natural, you know how it is. It's a love and hate relationship with your natural hair, but you want your curls. But at the same time, you don't want to deal with the management. So we are doing the silk press today. You too curl. Okay, we're back to normal. So as you can tell from today's title, I am going to be sharing three simple things that you can do right now to reinvent yourself and create the life that you desire. Now, this is a topic that I am so excited to share with you guys because I am currently on the journey to reinventing myself and reinventing my life. I am just so excited to see more of how I can change my environment, how I can change what I do on a daily basis, my routines, so it fits who I want to be. Because one thing I'm learning is sometimes the person you are right now is not the person that God wants you to be. And that's okay because it's a process. You have to go through certain processes to get to where you need to be. And one of those processes requires for you to reinvent yourself. Reinvent yourself by breaking all those bad habits, by changing your lifestyle, your routine, your interests, and everything that really isn't helping you become the woman that you know you should be. If you're ready to reinvent yourself and create the life that you desire, then make sure you grab your notebook and get ready to take notes. Okay, so step number one is to envision who you want to be as well as the life that you want to have. And the reason why it's so important to have a vision for who you want to be is because when you imagine, it not only helps you to see things before it happens, but it produces an emotion within you that usually motivates you to do something or to have a desired outcome. So let's take a moment and imagine yourself right now, no matter where you are at right now. Imagine that you are on a beach somewhere, on a beautiful island, having the time of your life without a care in the world, and you are just living life. Now, when you close your eyes, you should feel relaxed. You should feel peace. You should feel happy. Even though that isn't your reality right now. That is what is so powerful about imagining things. And you can do the same thing when it comes to imagining who you want to be. Because the reality is, if you can't see it before it happens, you're going to have a hard time believing that it can happen. Here are some things that you want to consider when you are imagining who you want to be and the life that you want to have. Consider your routine. What do you do on a daily basis? What do you do in the morning? Do you eat breakfast? Do you work out? Do you take a shower? Do you take a bath? Another thing to consider is your environment. Who do you surround yourself with? What does your home look like? How is your home decorated? Are you organized? And you also have to consider, what does your health and wellness life look like? What do you eat on a daily basis? Are you eating more fruits and vegetables? Are you eating a whole bunch of fried food? What are you consuming on a daily basis? How are you taking care of yourself? Are you going to the gym? Are you doing home workouts? Are you doing yoga, kickboxing? What are you doing? Not only do you have to consider how you take care of yourself, but also how do you look? How do you wear your hair? How do you dress? What is your overall style? And lastly, consider what you do for fun. What are your hobbies? What are some things that you just love to do or that you are interested in trying? Now, these are just some things that you can consider when it comes to envisioning who you want to be, but the list can go on and on. Just be creative in what you come up with. Okay, so here are some things that I considered when it came to envisioning who I want Stephanie to be. The number one thing on my list was I want to be a person that has a consistent morning and night routine. Keyword consistent, because yeah, I have a morning and night routine, but how consistent do I stick to it? I don't. So that was one thing that I knew had to be on my list. Another thing that was on my list was to be a woman that works out. And okay, first off, I don't do the gym. I've tried Planet Fitness 1 year and it was okay, but I just felt lost. I don't know if I felt intimidated. I don't know, but the gym, it was just too much for me. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but the gym was too much for me. Maybe because I went by myself and I didn't really know what I was doing, but I think I was on the elliptical. I didn't do the treadmill. I don't know. I did the bikes and then I did some weightlifting, like just the machines, not actual weights or anything. But yeah, I don't know. It just wasn't for me. That's okay because I know what works for me. And what works for me right now in this season is doing home workouts. So that is something that I said I'm going to start doing. And something else that I wanted to do was really focus on my home, creating my environment to be welcoming, to be cozy, to be warm and inviting. Because after working 12-hour shifts and running a restaurant, I need a place where I could come home and I feel at ease. I don't feel stressed, but I feel like my home is my sanctuary. So I wanted to make sure that I took the necessary steps to creating the environment that's going to give me that feeling. So moving on to step number 2, and that is to get your mind thinking the way that you want to think. And what I mean by that is whatever attribute or whatever characteristic that you want to start embodying, you have to consider how a person that has that attribute would think. So let me give you an example. So let's say one of the attributes that you want to start acquiring for yourself is to be more organized. Let's take a moment and think about how an organized person thinks. So for starters, an organized person isn't going to like a lot of clutter. So you already know if you are thinking as an organized person, you should avoid clutter or any messy environment as much as possible. And now that you are thinking like an organized person, you can now turn those thoughts into action. So now when you come home, instead of just dropping your coat, your purse, your keys, and everything else that you had in your hand just everywhere, you're going to remember that as an organized person, you put things away, because when you don't put things away, what happens? It becomes cluttered. So the more you think like the woman you want to be, the more you become her. Sis, if you are struggling with developing certain habits, it's because you got to change your thoughts first. You are thinking the same way like you've always thought before. But that way of thinking is preventing you from being the woman that you want to be. So once you start thinking like the woman you want to be, then you can start creating at least 3 to 5 things or habits that you can start doing on a consistent basis. And the more you do those things, the more natural it becomes for you, and the more it just becomes part of your lifestyle. So one of the habits that I wanted to start doing more often is to really level up my skincare and self-care routine. I would say that I had a pretty good kind of basic skin and self-care routine. Now, of course, I would shower regularly. I would brush my teeth, wash my face, things like that. I would put lotion on my body and all of those things. Like, I was consistent with doing those things. But what I realized is that honestly, those were just the basics. So one way that I started to change my thoughts about who I want to be and how I want to take care of myself is to educate myself. Okay, that's a whole another tip. Okay, educate yourself on how to be the woman you want to be. So if I knew that I wanted to level up my skincare and my self-care routine, guess what? Guess what was my best friend? Social media, TikTok, Instagram. Okay, do not sleep when it comes to TikTok. You literally can, TikTok is like Google, but in video form, short video form. You could Google anything and you could find it on TikTok. So I learned from TikTok some ways to elevate my self-care routine. And this is what I've been adding and I've been loving it, okay? So I'm pretty excited to share these with you because these things that I've been doing has literally not only elevated my self-care routine, but just makes me feel good. Like, you feel good when you know how to properly take care of yourself. Not just like, you know, doing the bare minimum, but going the extra mile. Like, you know how you feel after you get your hair done, your nails done, and you get a nice massage, like you took care of yourself. And just by me adding these things to my routine makes me get that same feeling as if I went to like a spa or whatever. So a few things that I've added is making sure that on certain days I exfoliate. So I pretty much exfoliate every other day or every 3 days. Another thing that I've been adding is not only using body lotion, but adding a body oil. Sis, if you don't know anything about a body oil plus lotion, try it. It will change your life. I've also bought a spin brush, like a facial cleanser spin brush from like Target, which was like $17 or something. It wasn't even that expensive. And I definitely see the difference since I've been using it. Another thing that I've added is exfoliating gloves. Like, when I tell you I've added a whole routine for myself that takes a little extra time, but it really all depends on how you feel afterwards. Like, if you feel good afterwards, then it's worth it. At least that's my opinion. And now step number 3. It's time for you to make sure that your environment is together. I don't think people really understand how much your environment, whether it's the people you hang around with or how your home is, affects your habits, how you think, and affects your overall lifestyle. So again, take some time and consider, how do you want your environment to look like? Consider how your home is decorated. Consider what food you have in your home. What are some things that you have in your home that brings you peace, that brings you happiness? Because think about it, if there's nothing in your home that makes you happy, is that a place that you want to be? And I know that there are certain things that you just can't change, but when it comes to reinventing yourself, you don't focus on what you can't change, you focus on what you can change. So maybe it's time that you start buying things that's going to help you to have an environment that makes you feel good. And I recently did this. I went out and I bought some candles, I bought some storage bins, I bought a few new skincare products. Like, I bought certain things that is going to help me to be more motivated to create the life that I want. Maybe that is something that you need to do too. Maybe you need to go to the store, write a list of things that you may not have right now, but you want, and that's going to motivate you to be the woman that you want to be. It is so important for you to take baby steps when you first start trying to create new habits for yourself, because what ends up happening is that you try to change up so much at one time that you become unmotivated and you don't want to do anything. Or you feel defeated because you can't do what you set out to do. And it's the same way as if when you first start working out, when you haven't worked out in a while. That was me. I started working out again, doing home Pilates workouts. I had to start at the beginning level. Now I'm used to doing the intermediate levels, but I'm not there yet. My muscles have not been warmed up to properly achieve those things that is required in the intermediate level. So when you start off with doing things step by step, little by little, it gives your mind and your body a chance to get used to the change that you are trying to see within yourself. If you took notes and wrote things down, make sure you go back and review it and just take it step by step. Do what works for you at the pace that works for you. Let me know which step or which tip that I shared today really helped you and that you are going to start applying to your life. If it was all three, let me know in the comments as well. If you have not subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe and you join the C.G.G.A family, okay? Make sure you follow us on Instagram and TikTok, and you share this video with another sis that will benefit from it. Until then, I will see you ladies in the next video.